gathering for this funeral mass service. Well, our special correspondent Luisa Baldini is there, and Luisa, a somber day there.
Yes, a day of reflection after 4 days of immense activity here in the Abruzzo region, the earthquake, the disbursement of thousands and thousands of people, and now a moment for everyone to come together to take stock and to reflect, and of course to honour and remember the dead. The Vatican Secretary of State, Cardinal Tarcisio Bertone, is now giving communion, Holy Communion, to the relatives and some of the mourners who've gathered here today in this vast square courtyard of a police barracks just outside L'Aquila. And it might seem strange that this Catholic Mass is being held here, especially one that is being led by the Vatican's envoy, and it's simply because all the churches in this area are considered unsafe since the earthquake struck on Monday.
Yes, very telling as we continue to see the pictures. Scenes of great distress there from many people who've gathered there. And Luisa, in terms of who is there at a state level, we have the Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi. Who else is there?
That's right, Silvio Berlusconi has been meeting members of the victims' families. He has been here in L'Aquila every day since Monday, touring the city, seeing the destruction and the rubble. He's also been touring some of the camps and seeing the relief effort. At one point, he told reporters that he had had no sleep for 44 hours on the trot, and many view his approach to this disaster as one that has been very hands-on and generally a very positive response to the government's coordination of the earthquake. But also, alongside Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi, the President, Giorgio Napolitano, he too has been here in L'Aquila yesterday. He in fact came to this police barracks where the coffins were lying in a hangar, and he spent some time privately paying his respects to the victims and meeting their families. He was said to be extremely struck and moved by the composure shown by so many of them. And of course, also many top politicians here. But it is a very religious ceremony. The service includes the attendance of 100 priests, including 18 bishops from dioceses across Italy. And what a symbolic and poignant day to be holding this service, because it is Good Friday, a day that Christians mark the death of Jesus Christ. The Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi there, the President Napolitano, and also seated just out of view, the former President Azeglio Ciampi, now quite elderly, but he's made the trip to be here today.
And Luisa, a day like today, totally dominated by grief, by the loss. All of those people that we're seeing there have suffered, but away from that, there is quite some anger, isn't there, at construction standards, inspection standards, that caused so many of those buildings to collapse and led to so many casualties.
That's right, a lot of sorrow here today, but as you say, also anger, especially as the death toll is still rising. Within the last couple of hours, We've found out that 2 more bodies have been pulled out of the rubble, the bodies of a 53-year-old woman and her teenage daughter, believed to have been 18 years old, found in the centre of L'Aquila, and therefore the death toll rising from 287 to 289. And yes, questions, recriminations about why so many people died. A top official from the Protezione Civile, the civil defence unit, told the BBC if this had happened in California, no one would have died. And residents and experts have been angry that even supposedly earthquake-proof modern buildings collapsed in the city of L'Aquila, and the public prosecutor here is to begin investigations. After the earthquake in 2003 in Molise, when a school collapsed, killing nearly 30 children, stricter building regulations were proposed, but this so-called seismic code, this law, was never implemented. So once this service is over and today is over, I think a lot of attention will focus on asking more questions about the state of the buildings in this area, this very mountainous area, which it's known is on one of the earthquake faults here in Italy. Many of the victims here, among the 205 coffins that we see, were from L'Aquila, this medieval university city, an hour and a half northeast of Rome, but also, of course, victims from over 20 surrounding towns and villages which were affected, especially the village of Onna,